The story that we are breaking at this moment, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has slammed the Wall Street Journal on its report on the AI-171 crash. AIIB statement says it has come to attention that certain sections of the international media are repeatedly attempting to draw conclusions through selective and unverified reporting. This is not the time to create public anxiety or angst towards safety of the Indian aviation industry, particularly on the basis of unfounded facts. It is essential to respect the sensitivity of the loss faced by family members of deceased passengers. Such actions are irresponsible, especially while the investigation remains ongoing. At this stage, it is too early to reach to any definite conclusions. The investigation by AIIB is still not complete. The final investigation report will come out with root causes and recommendations. So that's the statement come from the AIIB, the authority that's investigating the AI-17 crash in Ahmedabad. Amit Bhardwaj joins me at the moment. Amit Bhardwaj, the fact is that the AIIB came out with a report, didn't do any press conference, put out the report well after midnight, and particularly the manner in which they put out select conversations between the pilots have led to speculation. So why doesn't the AIIB conduct a press conference to once and for all settle all doubts? Why is it allowing this speculation to grow? How is it responding? Why now? Why couldn't it come out clearly with the facts? What is stopping them from doing so?
Rajdeep, two aspects to it. Number one, obviously about AIIB not holding the press conference. So for that matter, we can say that AIIB is the probe agency. Let them not come in the public fore. But where is Minister of Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu? You know, after holding that one press conference, there has been not a single word coming from Ram Mohan Naidu besides one or the other Janata bites, common bites that he has been doing, that to outside the national capital. And the MOCA secretary has not held any press conference either in this particular regard. So that has definitely opened the floodgate for the international media to play out as they wish and make insinuations the way they want to do. Second fact is that, it's not the first report of the WSJ which has prompted the AIIB to make out this particular statement, but rather ever since that AIIB report came out, what we have seen is that, headlines have been made in a manner and fashion such that confusion between pilots led to AI-171 crash against AIIB report. When factually this was an absolutely incorrect headline to go with, but that's what a section of international media has done as well. So that is a big point question. The pilot associations from India as well as global pilot associations have time and again asked, appealed, urged, media houses to not make insinuations pinning down the responsibility on these pilots who are not there to defend themselves. And if we say that pilots are under scanner, so is Boeing. Nobody has given clean sheet to Boeing and nobody has given a clean sheet to Air India, or for that matter, the company which manufactures the engine of Boeing and the compliance authorities as well. So definitely there are loopholes, as you suggested, that that there's a text or conversation between those two pilots,
right.
Pilots from the Sabrawal. So that is in context. Yes.
No, the point, Amit Bhardwaj, I want to make, you're saying no one has given a clean sheet to Boeing or Air India. Why doesn't the AIIB say that very clearly? By paraphrasing only one little aspect of that conversation between the pilots on the cutting off of the fuel switches, they have allowed this speculation to grow. Why doesn't AIIB either release the entire cockpit voice recorder as some of the pilots are demanding, or make it very clear that there is no clean sheet given to Boeing or Air India?
Rajdeep, that is something that AIIB, I think, would ponder upon now, because that text is not without a context, because there was a case of transition of fuel control switches made in that report, and the focus of that report was about as to how this transition led to the crash. And that is, the text has been released in that context, and now several inferences and interpretations are being made out from that particular text. So yes, that question is being asked, that why not put out the entire transcript of the CVR which has been received, or at least from the timing from which the flight took off and till the timing of crash. That would have actually made the picture even more clear. So possibly there could be a technical aspect, a scope for more speculation, more inferences, or rather beyond context interpretation. That could have also stopped the AIIB from making the entire CVR from that that particular time zone being released. But definitely it has opened the scope of a floodgate of misreporting, as we mentioned. Back to you.
Okay, Amit Bhardwaj, for telling us how the AIIB has had to step in with damage control. Remember, the Wall Street Journal report seemed to suggest that it was the pilots, or one of the pilots, who had manually cut off the fuel switch that could have led to the engine failure, which in turn led to the crash. Clearly, the international media now under the scanner for its role there. So do we now have a judicial report that is exonerating the Siddaramaiah government? Can the Siddaramaiah government escape blame for the stampede? RCB organizers, police all in the dock. But who really will actually be held accountable? Questions that I will raise with A.S. Ponnampa. He is both legal advisor to Karnataka Chief Minister and a Congress MLA. Narendra Rangappa is BJP senior spokesperson there, and S.T. Ramesh, former DGP Karnataka. Appreciate your joining us. Mr. Ponnappa, let me come to you. The report, as I see it, that we have access blames RCB, DNA Networks, the event managers, the KSCA for organizing an unauthorized victory parade. But given that this event was approved to be held at the Vidhan Soudha, a government-controlled site, how does the Congress claim complete non-involvement? A major event is taking place at Chinnaswamy Stadium, one at Vidhan Soudha. Stampede takes place, yes, at Chinnaswamy Stadium. And the government says we had no idea what was going on. And therefore, the report seems to exonerate completely the government. The Home Minister surely, or someone in the government, must take responsibility too.
Rajdeep, let us not mix up the issues. We are specifically dealing with the celebration at Chinnaswamy Stadium, where the stampede took place and where the deaths have happened. Therefore, the entire report of the Commission of Inquiry and the Magisterial Inquiry are dealing with this stampede incident, which took place outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium. So this is an event purely in the realm of a private celebration by RCB, which utilized the KSCA premises of the Chinnaswamy Stadium premises for its matches, as well for celebrating its victory. KSCA, which provided the premises, and DNA, which is the event manager or the intermediary in this whole thing. Now, where the police step in is that the RCB and the KSCA have 1 day prior to the date of the celebration represented to them or intimated them or applied to them seeking permission. Now there is a controlling order, as you have pointed out just before you allowed us to speak, 2009 controlling order, which deals with permissions and how the police must act while providing permission to the such assemblies or such programs or such celebrations. So as far as the organizers are concerned, very categorical finding that we can see, it is a fact, is that they did not have the permission to go ahead with the celebration. Whether they were required to obtain such a permission, yes, they were required. Whether they took such a permission, no, they did not take. These are rather cold facts.
No, but
now,
why
the
did
permission...
I take your cold facts, but I take your point that they did not have the full permission and went ahead with the function. Then why did government functionaries attend such a function? Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, Deputy Chief Minister, was happily giving the award to Virat Kohli. A parallel function took place at Vidhan Soudha, which eventually led to the political secretary of the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah stepping down. My point is, are we saying that all of this took place with the government completely oblivious to the fact that such a major event was taking place without any permissions? And surely the police department reports to the Home Ministry and the Home Minister.
No, this is exactly why the Commissioner of Police, Additional Commissioner, going all the way downwards to the police inspector, stands suspended. Are you going to tell us that the government has acted, with this kind of action without any basis? See,
So
what
we are
the policemen
told that the
police
officials had spoken to the government, which gave the green signal. Are you telling me the police
No,
officials allowed all of
Rajdeep,
this to take?
Rajdeep.
Are
No,
you
let us-
telling me the police officials allowed all these events to take place without consulting the government, and someone in the government didn't give them a green signal?
I am not saying it. The facts before you through the inquiry reports are saying it. Now, it may not suit somebody's palate that the government is not a party to something like this. But that doesn't mean that you deviate from the facts. The facts remain the facts. What the police were meant to do, supposed to do in law, they did not do it. Which is why they are now stand suspended, which is why action was taken. This is an event which took place within 24 hours. Government, whether the police commissioner or the intelligence briefed the Home Minister on the morning of the event, they did not brief the Chief Home Minister. They did not brief the Chief Minister about this Chinnaswamy event. They did not brief that permission was sought and no permission has been given. Now the controlling order also specifically mandates, Section 8 says, that the licensing authority must reject when they cannot allow this program to go on. You have slept over this application. Are you going to tell that the Chief Minister and the Home Minister are aware of an application made for permission to the police department?
Can I
You heard the Honorable Chief
Okay,
Minister.
I've heard you. I've heard you.
Honorable Chief Minister himself saying that
Yes.
deaths have taken place by the time he went to Vidhan Soudha. Police officers were very busy taking care of the program. They did not know about the stampede. That they did not inform the Chief Minister or the Home Minister about the stampede. In fact, when at 5:20 after the program in Vidhan Soudha, the Honorable Chief Minister was informed about the death not by the police, by somebody else. He then called the Commissioner of Police to check. Even then, the Commissioner did not inform the Chief Minister that 11 deaths have taken place. This is the fact.
Okay. Can I just go now to Narendra Rangappa? Narendra Rangappa, what Mr. Ponappa is saying there is that, Ponanna is saying these are the facts which have come through a judicial commission now. Now, if that commission believes that the government had no role to play in this entire private event, so be it. Are you looking in some way to target the government in this case? Does that mean tomorrow, whenever a stampede takes place in any part of the country, this was in Bengaluru, in any part of the country, the government of the day will be blamed? I haven't seen any report on the Kumbh Mela, for example, blaming Yogi Adityanath.
Sir, let me first make a statement that the government is accountable for and responsible for the law and order situation in Karnataka. The police happens to be an essential organ of the state government. Mr. Michael de Cunha seems to have amputated an essential part of the government in the report he has submitted. He has totally exonerated the CM, DCM and the Home Minister. These were the entities that were hand in glove with RCB, DNA and the other KSCA.
Are you saying, sir, are you saying that Michael Cunha has deliberately delivered a report to exonerate the Karnataka government? Is that the charge you are making, that a judicial officer appointed has deliberately done so? That's a very serious charge to make.
Because the Home Ministry, the police is the government. If these people are blamed, then why not their masters? Why not the Home Minister? Why not the Chief Minister, who are responsible for running the government, who are responsible for maintaining law and order?
No, are we saying that are we saying therefore whenever a private event takes place in any part of the country, if there is a stampede in that event, the minister or the chief minister of that state must be held accountable? Is that what you're saying now?
100%.
KSCA is a private ground. How is the chief minister responsible for a stampede at KSCA?
But he is responsible for the law and order. Whether KSCA is not following the law and order, or if DNA is not respecting the government, if any function or gathering is allowed without any permission from the respective authorities, it is illegal. And it is the priority of the CM and the cabinet to see that such things don't happen. If they had been a little bit proactive, 11 deaths would have been prevented. I squarely blame that the government of Karnataka has blood on its hand.
Okay, you're saying government of Karnataka has blood on its hand. Let me just, away from the politics, Ramesh, ask you, look at what happened to the police. You had a police commissioner of some distinction being suspended. You've had other officers being transferred out. Do you believe at the end of the day, now that this report is out and India Today has accessed it, that effectively what it's doing is making the police and the private organizers responsible. The government and ministers, all of whom knew that this event was taking place. Let them say that no one can say they didn't have knowledge because it was taking place both in Vidhan Soudha and KSCA. Have they been let off the hook too easily? Have the police become the fall guy in your view, Mr. Ramesh?
I have been saying right from the beginning, Rajdeep, that police have been made a scapegoat. And I hold on to that view even now. There were many stakeholders in this bizarre incident on the 4th of June. The political leaders of the government are definitely one of the stakeholders, because there was a reception at Vidhan Soudha, the grand steps of the Vidhan Soudha, on not even a couple of hours, maybe an hour before the RCB team, the heroes of IPL, moved to KSCA Stadium. The KSCA Stadium is barely 1 or 1.5 kilometers from the Vidhan Soudha. And there is free access for people to reach from Vidhan Soudha to the KSCA through the High Court itself. Through the High Court, Kabban Park, they can just cross over. Vidhan Soudha and KSCA are all in different parts of the Kabban Park complex. Now, definitely the state governments are stakeholders. Police is also a stakeholder, but if anything, they are the least among the stakeholders. They are the last among the stakeholders. The police, just consider the circumstances, give me a minute. The entire night of 3rd and 4th, all the entire police force of Bangalore was on the streets during the night, keeping vigil, because there was delirious celebrations on the streets of Bangalore. You could hear it in the outskirts of Bangalore. Everywhere there was celebration. The important thing is RCB has no organic connection with Karnataka, that it has a suffix Bangalore, and it is a franchise. It is nothing to do with, and there are barely 2 or 3 players of Karnataka included in the RCB team. Now, what has a franchise got to do? The grand steps of Vidhan Soudha are meant for government functions. And by holding a reception at the grand steps of the Vidhan Soudha, in which everybody was present, the entire cabinet perhaps was present with their families, the state government becomes a very, very big stakeholder. Was there a permission?
But the Stampede, sir, with due regard, Mr. Ramesh, the Stampede takes place at KSCA. The Karnataka police or the Bengaluru police, if it has rejected permission, should not have allowed the function to go ahead in the first place. So you cannot say that the police is not culpable. The police also the police should have said, no, we are not allowing you to do the function. They should have said, sorry, not happening.
This is being oversimplifying the event. The Facebook post was made at 7 o'clock, as you yourself stated, in the initial stages. People started coming. The RCB has a following of 21 million. The Bangalore City Police has a social media following of 2 million. So how do you make the appeal, and how do you countermand the appeal of the RCB? It would have led to a potential greater confusion.
So,
and when people were surging, how do you physically stop them?
So the primary responsibility was of RCB and KSCA. Let's be clear. They flouted the rules very clearly. They went ahead in the belief that they would get the permission and put out these social media posts. But Mr. Ponnanna, in conclusion, you've heard, when a chief minister or a deputy chief minister are seen to endorse the function, in one event, he's holding the IPL trophy with Virat Kohli, in another one, it's deputy chief minister Siddaramaiah. The government cannot simply say tomorrow, when things went wrong, we didn't know what was happening. That's the problem. It would have been, the Cunha report almost seems to suggest as if the government was living in a parallel universe, completely oblivious to what was happening.
Rajdeep, I just want to bring one fact into this. that the request of RCB and KSCA was for an open rally, which the police denied orally and communicated to the concerned also that they will not be allowed to take out an open rally, which is an open bus rally, which the government agreed to. So what I'm trying to say here is, if the police were to intimate to the government or to the concerned that we are not in a position to go ahead with a program of this nature, of this magnitude, you can take it from me and be rest assured that there is no question of this program having gone ahead.
No, so are you telling me that the police? Are you telling me the police did not communicate this to the Chief Minister's office or the Deputy Chief Minister's office or the Home Ministry that we are in no position to carry on this function?
101% they did not. Now, which government will say that when a police commissioner or the DG of police says that we are not in a position, that you go ahead? A function which is totally unconnected as far as the state is concerned. And like our former DGP rightly said, see, RCB is a franchisee.
No, that's all the more. If RCB is a franchisee, you didn't need DK Shivkumar running to the airport to receive the team if they are a private franchisee. My point is, the government's actions bellied. It would have been useful. Then the government should have said, we have nothing to do with this. This is a private event. Then I would believe every word that you say.
Rajdeep, from when did an invitee or a guest to an event become liable for what happens there? You see, let's get the jurisprudence right here. And when you point fingers at the government, especially Mr. Rangappa was trying to politicize it and say that the government is directly responsible, like you questioned him, and rightly so. What happened in the Kumbh Mela? We do not bury things under the carpet. We have gone ahead with inquiries. We have gone ahead with the judicial inquiry. Judicial inquiry reports are there. The magistrate inquiry reports are there. Matters are in court in a public interest litigation. We have filed our status report there. We are clean and we are transparent.
Okay.
We have hidden, facts have been hidden, numbers have been hidden, statistics have been hidden in the Kumbh Mela. Let them come clean with it before questioning the government.
Rangappa wants a final word. Mr. Rangappa, every time you will target the Karnataka government, they will turn around and say, the UP BJP government swept it under the carpet. You did not even tell the country how many people died in the Kumbh. You did not even tell the country, Mr. Rangappa, how many people died. Just a minute now, Mr. Pota, let him respond.
No. See, during the Kumbh Mela, total arrangements were pre-made. It was not that it was just done out of the blue. All necessary precautions were taken. The time taken to react from the time of incident and the team to approach, the medical team of the ambulance and the rescue team to approach was one of the best that has happened in the world. Please don't compare this.
Okay, you're saying don't compare the two stampedes. Either way, sir. Okay, time out. This is where the noise takes over. But I think what we have got is a report in place. I think this report needs to be therefore looked at even more carefully by all the stakeholders. There are lessons to be learned. You cannot carry out such functions in future without due permission. Lessons for RCB and indeed lessons for governments. It is not your job to get involved with private franchises and the celebrations. And if you are, then be ready to take accountability. I appreciate my guest joining me on my top talking point. Bihar, where the shocking gang wars in that state have reached Patna hospital. Shooters were caught on CCTV entering a ward armed and then fleeing after murdering a convict. This is not the first, but the latest in a series of murders in the heart of Patna. Is this Jungle Raj 2.0? India Today reports.
Armed gangsters enter a ward, murder a patient and escape. No, this is not a scene from gangs of Wasipur, but the horrifying reality of Bihar in 2025. Captured on camera, the killers pulling out their guns, opening the door to the cabin, unloading their weapons and fleeing seconds later. They killed gangster Chandan Mishra a hardened criminal with multiple murder charges who was out on parole on medical grounds. But the police response has triggered even more outrage. Bihar's top cop claimed that this is the season for murders and crimes.
अप्रैल मई जून जब तक बरसात नहीं होती है ये सिलसिला जारी रहता है क्योंकि ज़्यादातर किसान को कोई काम नहीं रहता है। इस वर्ष चुनाव भी है तो राजनीतिक दलों के द्वारा भी इस पर ज़्यादा नज़रिया दिया गया है।
Union Minister Jitan Ram Majhi, instead of questioning law enforcement, blamed the hospital for lax security.
पारस हॉस्पिटल कोई सरकारी संस्था नहीं है, वो निजी संस्था है। वहाँ का क्या प्रतिबंध उन लोगों का रहा है उन लोगों को सोचना चाहिए। अब घूस करके मारा है तो किसी साधु को नहीं मारा है। आपस में गैंगवार का मामला है, वो लोग तो कहीं भी कुछ कर ले सकते हैं। सरकारी महकमे में सरकारी अस्पताल में रहता है, अगर बात होती तो मैं कर सकता हूँ।
अभी हम और ये बैठे हुए हैं, हम इनको मार देंगे, ये हमको मार देंगे, ये क्राइम है। तो आपसी विवाद है और आपसी विवाद के लिए घटनाएं होती हैं, हो सकती है कहीं भी दुनिया में किसी भी देश में होती है, लेकिन यहाँ कार्रवाई तुरंत होती है, गिरफ्तार होते हैं, घटना करने वाले लोग गिरफ्तार होते हैं।
For the opposition, the incident is proof of the Jungle Raj under CM Nitish Kumar.
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का क्रिमिनल डिसऑर्डर हो चुका है। अब ये बात एडीजी खुद ही कह रहे हैं। अगर ये कौन सा बहाना है भाई कि मॉनसून में बारिश में अपराध बढ़ जाता है? ये तो पहली बार हम लोग सुन रहे हैं। यानी पुलिस नाकाम है, लाचार है। ये बयान तो ये दिखाता है क्योंकि मुख्यमंत्री का इकबाल खत्म हो गया, गृह मंत्रालय उनके पास है, दोनों डिप्टी सीएम बेकार हैं।
With Bihar now fully in poll season, this incident is a grim reminder of how crime infested the state remains, a formidable test for the incoming government. With Rohit Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Is Patna the new crime capital, if it ever was not? 116 murders from January to May this year, many of them high profile. One murder taking place in every 25 hours in Patna. In an election year, let's raise the question. Jungle Raj back in Bihar. The opposition this time has put the BJP JDU government in the dock. Is there a free run for gangsters? Who will fight crime in Bihar? Is Nitish Kumar losing his claim of being Shusasan Babu? Guru Prakash Paswan is the BJP spokesperson. Anshul Avjit of the Congress is joining me for my face-off. Appreciate both of you joining us. Guru Prakash Paswan, for years when Lalu Prasad Yadav ruled, the BJP claimed Jungle Raj in Bihar. Now, when Patna is emerging as a crime capital, can the JDU-BJP government escape responsibility?
No, Rajdeep ji, we must understand that it was not the BJP or the NDA that said it was a Jungle Raj. It was the Patna High Court after a series of misgovernance, crime, caste massacres. The term was given by Patna High Court. It was
So the
people of
BJP
Bihar who
JDU
accepted the term.
combined
And
used
in
it in
2005,
every rally for a
Kumar-
decade. For every rally for a decade, you all said Jungle Raj in Bihar. It may have been first used in the courts, but that was your political narrative, your political slogan.
No, but you... No, we are not claiming credit for the origin of this term. And Patna High Court was essentially, it was a judicial process. The term was an output or a product of deliberation and series of misrules, series of caste massacres that happened in Bihar. But having said that, Rajdeep ji, we must accept and definitely, Mr. Nitish Kumar is identified as someone who has never compromised on crime, who has never compromised on corruption. And post 2005, if you look at it comprehensively, the last 2 decades have been the peaceful in Bihar. You see the per capita crime, the murders per lakh population in Bihar has gone down fundamentally. The murder average per lakh was 4.1. Under Nitish Kumar's governance, it's 2.1. So it's almost halved. But we accept accountability needs to be fixed. The incidents that has happened in the course of the last 2 weeks, each and every single case, Rajdeep ji, I can give you the action taken report. Arrest, encounters, inquiry, investigation. It is the topmost priority of the NDA government under Mr. Nitish Kumar. But we also accept that murders like this happening in broad daylight in Patna, it's highly unfortunate. But let me assure you and your viewers that it is and it always will be on the topmost mind of our leadership, be it political, administrative, bureaucratic or police. But we also realize that the person who died, the person who was shot at, has a criminal antecedent. He is notorious, but that doesn't discount. We are a country with the rule of law. We are a country with the constitution. We are a country which believes in giving fair hearing. But that is something which can be
these are all fine
this
words.
person was of notorious criminal record and of criminal antecedents.
Sir, the fact is, and I have to go by data here, NCRB data for violent crime shows that there were 24,073 cases of violent crime in 2005 when Nitish Kumar took over. It's now 49,610. These are the figures of NCRB. But Anshul Avjit, according to Guru Prakash Paswan, this is very different from Lalu's Raj. According to him, Lalu's Raj patronized criminals. The BJP is acting against them, or the BJP JDU government is acting against them.
There is complete mayhem in Bihar. I mean, there is hopelessness, there is despair. It's not just crime, it's just not law and order. There is education, there is health, there is investment, there is joblessness. Every manner, every denominator, Bihar, it's lowest ever. And you're talking about 20 years back. I know the BJP is really interested in rewriting history and vilifying historical actors and all. I just wonder, what are events that happened 20 years back have any kind of bearing on what is happening today in the killing fields of Bihar? I mean, this is the worst stereotype that has come along. I try my friends to tell them and dispel this image of Bihar as this crumbling sort of crime-infested place. I'll have to work much, much harder to do that right now because those stereotypes.
But this was no different. The argument that the JDU-BJP makes is that it's not as if all of this happened only when Nitish Kumar was in power. You come with all the baggage that Lalu Prasad had in his government. There were a number of criminals who were given tickets. It became the criminalization of politics was taken to another level. Do you concede that, Anshul Avjit, and therefore
No, but what bearing does it have now? I don't understand what bearing this has in the current context. What relevance does it have right now? We are discussing the current state of Bihar. The hopelessness, the abject poverty, I mean, farmers, education, health in every sector, it's, there's a downward spiral. The ADG, made a very bizarre statement about, normalizing it, some sort of seasonal cycle of crime. And, even Mr. Lalan Singh, who's a very senior leader, said, ye sab to hota hai. My friend Guru said that, no, this is on the top of everyone's mind. I mean, they're completely normalizing it. Do tell me if what happened earlier, indeed, if it did, weighed so heavily in the conscience of the chief minister, then he joined the Gathbandhan twice, right? What prevented him? And now why is the BJP supporting him?
That's a good point. Nitish Kumar joined Lalu Prasad Yadav. That time there was no Jungle Raj. Moment he leaves, he would call it Jungle Raj. Guru Prakash Paswan. Also, the ADGP of Bihar, Kundan Krishnan, attributes the rising crime rate in the state to monsoon season, saying most farmers do not have work. I mean, these are bizarre reasons, including Jitin Ram Majhi saying this happens in private hospitals. So, I mean, whether it's happening in a private or a government hospital, if people are going to be engaging in gang wars in the middle of hospital, the government has some responsibility, some accountability. I mean, the chief minister is absent, missing in action. The chief minister is rarely seen, rarely heard. Where is this Sushasan Babu of yours?
No, that's not the case, Rajdeep ji. The chief minister is on the tour, he is touring Bihar and it is on his mind. But let me make this very clear, and you in your initial set of observation used a very nice word, state patronized and state patronage criminals, only a couple of weeks ago. And Rajdeep ji, you are a fairly senior journalist. You would know the monster that Shahabuddin was. Only a couple of weeks ago in a RJD convention in Patna, Shahabuddin ji Zindabad. Taslimuddin ji Zindabad. Who is Shahabuddin?
Yeah, but they are not in power. No, 1 minute. Guru Prakash Paswan, that's a good point, but they are not in power. Today you are in power. Mr. Paswan, if the RJD was in power, everything you said makes sense. Today they are not in power. When the BJP and JDU is in power, it's your damn responsibility to get it right.
you do realize the difference between organized crime, state-sponsored crime, state-protected crime, and unorganized crime. You do realize the relevance of it. You do realize that there are land issues in Bihar. You do realize that the underbelly of Bihar has this major issue of suffering. But the problem is precisely this: state-promoted, state-protected, state-patronized crime and criminal network. Your journalist, Ashok Karn, you would remember, he was kidnapped. Dinesh Dinkar, he was murdered. Siwan Doordarshan office was attacked. In Gaya, Hindustan was attacked. Mr. Gopal was murdered. Slew of journalists, list of journalists I have. There are names, Rajdeep, that shakes the conscience even today. Wife of an IAS officer, Champa Biswas. The Shilpi Jain case. Miss Patna, student of Patna Women's College. We have to make a distinction. But having said that, Rajdeep ji, let me make this very clear that accountability will be fixed. Every single action in the last 3 weeks has been highly unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate that the police and the administration has taken serious cognizance of it.
Okay, Anshul Abhijit, I'll give you a final word because Guru Prakash Paswan is insisting that this, the violence we are seeing now cannot be compared to what he seems to refer to as state-sponsored violence in the previous regime of which you are an alliance, the RJD-Congress alliance.
Well, it's top to bottom. I mean, ordinary people are protesting now. There are teachers who've been killed. There are doctors who've been killed, shopkeepers, business people, convicts in hospitals. I mean, it's there everywhere. And the fact that the senior police official made such bizarre remarks was either because he's completely abdicating responsibility, because he can't do anything about it, because they've been over 12, according to one report, Rajdeep, staggering. I almost fell off the chair. 1,200 attacks against the police force. 2 ASIs were actually killed in Holi. So the police force cannot protect itself, and now the public naturally has no choice but to lose faith in the police force itself. And the police is directly controlled by the executive. There is absolutely no doubt about it. It's complete lawlessness. There is a social context to this as well. Rajdeep, one last point. There is a social context to this. When there is mass joblessness, when there is despair and there is hopelessness, crime does come. Bihar needs to be fixed and can't remain this broken state.
You know, the worst thing, of course, is all of this is happening in an election year in a sense, because then the political rhetoric takes over. But either way, as a friend just seeing the program has told me, watching those scenes in a Patna hospital, he's reminded of The Godfather and worse. These seem to be the killing fields of Patna. And this is not what any city, any part of the country wants to see. Guru Prakash Paswan, Anshul Abhijit for joining me on my face-off. Thank you very much. Now, just a day after India Today reported that a government primary school in Chhattisgarh's Sarguja district exists only on paper, and that too since 2006, children being forced to study in a crumbling, leaking Anganwadi kitchen shed. Authorities have finally woken up after seeing our story here on the news today on Get Real India. Earlier today, the district collector has visited the dilapidated school, suspended the village secretary and issued a show-cause notice to the block education officer. He has also approved the construction of a new school building and an Anganwadi center, directing officials to ensure the work begins without delay. It's an India Today impact, and I assure you we will continue to take up these kind of stories to raise your voice, stories that do not make it to prime time anywhere, which is often caught in the noise of news. Okay, let's turn to another Get Real India story. Branded foreigners in their own land. Over 400 Bengali-speaking migrant workers were detained last week in Odisha as suspected Bangladeshis. Among them, 19 Indian citizens from West Bengal's Shukrabad village were held for days without proof until documents sent by their families finally secured their release. Why should speaking Bengali make you a Bangladeshi? Here's a ground report. Take a look.
সে বলে নাকি বাংলাদেশি আমাদেরকে বলছে তোরা বাংলাদেশিয়া বাংলাদেশি তৎকালীন লাগবে আমাদেরকে আগে বাংলাদেশি বলছে
It's the worst nightmare one can suffer. Being told to prove your citizenship in your own country. Over 400 Bangla-speaking migrant workers were detained in Odisha last month. Branded as suspected Bangladeshis, they were packed off to temporary detention centers by the police. 19 of them were from Shukrabad village in Birbhum district of West Bengal. They were detained on June 25th in Balasore, where they had gone to work.
23 তারিখে যাই, 24 তারিখে ফোন মারে যে তোমাদের আধার কার্ড ভেরিফিকেশন আছে। ভেরিফিকেশন যখন গেলাম ওখানে আধার কার্ড অরিজিনাল আধার কার্ড জমা নিল, তারপরে মোবাইল জমা নিল, 25 তারিখে মোবাইল জমা নিল। মোবাইল জমা নেওয়ার পরে সন্ধ্যে 5টার সময় সে বলে নাকি বাংলাদেশি। আমাদের সকল ডকুমেন্টস আছে, জমা দেখাচ্ছি, প্রুফ দেখেছি, তবু বিশ্বাস করছে না, বলছে বাংলাদেশি তকমা দিয়ে। তারা ওখান থেকে বালেশ্বরে নিয়ে গেছিল। বালেশ্বর থেকে চাঁদিপুরের থানার আন্ডারে একটা ডিটেনশন ক্যাম্প আছে, ওখানে রেখেছিল।
তো আপনাদের কি গ্রেফতার করেছিল না?
না, গ্রেফতার করেনি, এরকম ঘরে রেখেছিল।
কোথায় রেখেছিল?
চাঁদিপুরে।
চাঁদিপুরে। সেটা কি ডিটেনশন ক্যাম্প না?
না, ডিটেনশন ক্যাম্প।
স্কুল না?
স্কুল। স্কুল টাইপের।
কদিন ছিলেন?
9 দিন ছিলাম।
কতজন ছিলেন?
18 জন।
18 জন।
হ্যাঁ।
তো কিভাবে ছাড়া পেলেন?
ছাড়া পড়া মানে এইখান থেকে আমাদের সব ডকুমেন্টস গেল, মানে আমাদের ডকুমেন্টস কোনো ওরা বানিয়ে নিয়ে আসে ডকুমেন্টস। আমাদের এখান থেকে বাড়তে ছিল ডকুমেন্টস, এগুলো সব বাড়তে সব দিই ওখান থেকে সব ই করি, এখান থেকে জাল ওখানকে নিয়ে বলছি তোরা এইবার তোরা পেলি।
আপনারা কি আবার ফেরত যাবেন?
যাবো।
ভয় নেই?
না, ভয় নেই। আমাদেরকে তো বললে কি তোদের লাইফ টাইম ব্যবসা করবি, তোদের আর কোনো ভয় নাই, তোদের ভালো হলো, যা রুমে।
সরকারের থেকে কি চান?
সরকার থেকে কি জানবো, ভালো হলে ভালো, মানে ব্যবসা করে খেয়েছি, গরিব লোক, এটাই।
What followed were days of agonizing wait, as their families rushed to gather documents to prove the detainees are indeed Indians. Local authorities came to their rescue.
I have been already collected the documents of 17 people. Already they deposit me, and I already sent to the administration, mainly DM, and their original documents have been verified from the West Bengal government, and they already sent to government of Odisha. There have been already verified, and they have been proved that they are the citizens of Indian and village of Shukrabad.
After many days in detention, all workers from Shukrabad were released.
Migrant workers from West Bengal detained in Odisha, having suspicion of them being Bangladeshi nationals, despite having valid proof of address and identity like Aadhaar card, voter card, and also PAN card, they were apprehended. Finally, after the intervention of the state government and providing additional documents, they are back home now.
Villagers say most men here go to Odisha and Andhra Pradesh for work. Now, after spending many days in a detention center, they face uncertainty. Was this a one-off, or will they face more harassment? With Tapas Sen Gupta, Bureau Report, India Today.